Hello, my name is Chris Zagalo, and I've come here with another story. I have a book called Running with Rainbows, The Afterlife, and Other Stories, and this is one of my other stories. I have had a lot of stories in my lifetime, different kinds that I thought everybody experienced, and they always seemed okay when they were happening. But then sometimes I question my sanity, I have to admit, a little bit after they'd happened because they were just different. But there was always a reason for everything. So I'm going to share one with you today that was an interesting venture when I was rollerblading in an area that this a paved area, walking area along a creek, and next to a little league baseball field, and there was a batting cage inside the field, next to the field, and inside the batting cage was a crow, and I could hear it, and it was just flying from end to end, and feathers falling, and there were crows flying above and in front of it, and I thought, well, I can't just keep going. I have to do something. So I took off my rollerblades and hobbled over in my stocking feet on the gravel and went to the door part of the cage, the short end, and waved my hand over the top, said, hello, hello, you know what? You can get through right here, right here. There's this big gap. Maybe that's how you got in there. I don't know. Anyway, it just seemed to be more upset. The crow outside the fence was upset. The crow up above were upset. And so I thought, okay, let's try something different. So I climbed up. It's on the long side now, next to where the gate is. I climbed up because I saw on the top that the ceiling part of the fence kind of curved. And I thought, maybe I would be able to lift it up and the crow can fly out of there because it was losing feathers. It was going back and forth. And I looked up above and I thought, oh, there's crows flying everywhere. And I thought, oh, please don't attack me. I'm on your side. You know, here I am. I'm climbing up the side of a fence. So then I climbed down the fence and I found a spot right underneath there where it was curled under from just because it was an older fence and batting cage. And I tried to pull it up there. At that time, the crow stopped flying and came down to the ground. And I thought, well, okay, it's going to come out here. Well, it didn't. So what it did, it bopped up like that and went to the short end of the cage by where the locked gate was. And here I'm out there all by myself. There isn't a soul anywhere. I couldn't find anybody that was able to help, when I was, so here I am doing my own thing. And the crow goes to that short side of the fence next to the gate. And this is what happened. A hole grew into the fence. A hole. It was a hole. There was no fence there. And the crow flew through it. And then the hole went back into being a fence again. And I sat there looking inside the batting cage. Oh, no. There was no crow in there. It was all gone. It flew to a tree with the other crows. They're all lots. They were very, very noisy and making lots of noise. And I'm looking around. That's kind of one of those moments where you wonder if somebody's got you on a camera or something. But no, that hole magically grew open and magically went back together. And I don't do pills or any kind of sorts of things where I imagine things. It happened. There was no more crow in there. They were all in the tree. So I put my skates back on and continued on down the running trail. And occasionally I'd look up and I'd see several over the top flying over me, not knowing exactly what they were doing that for, but they, I don't know, maybe they were just saying thank you. And I just continued on, and I'd look up every once in a while. There'd be some more, and then there'd be a fewer amount. And so I went to the end of this 4-mile trail and then came back. And I kept saying to myself, as I often do in these things, why did I see this? What was this about? Why did this happen to me? I want to know. I want to know the answers. I always want to know the answers. Right now, I know that there's some reason that I saw a hole in a fence that wasn't there, and then there was, back again. So as I'm going by the cage, batting cage again, and I kept saying, I want to know right now what this was about. And I do know that crows are known to be shapeshifters, so I thought, are they some native spirits or something? Is this part of my family that came and they're trying to tell me something? Well, I heard words that were very clear. And this is what I heard. I even wrote it down. You can show the caged possibilities, openings, and doors to the outside world. In their time, the only way they will find a way out is when they open their own doors in the place that may seem the least logical, and when their vision is clear to see it. So I thought, well, that kind of answered my question as to why this mystical happening appeared in front of me. It also was a time that I was teaching lifestyle living and anger management at our local Washington State Penitentiary to close custody men and medium and minimum security. And the main one that I talked with most of all was always closed custody. They seemed to be the most open to me. We talked a lot of the same language. Many of them are very intuitive, and many of the ones in my class were Native American, and so we related to a lot of good talks. Anyway, I went back to the prison that afternoon and told my class what I had seen, and wanted to find out what they thought, because many were aware of things like that. And it opened up discussion like I can't believe it. They trusted me even more so after that to have conversation, as well as the other two places in the prison. And it seemed like it opened up many doors where they knew that I was trying to help them, and I was sharing a lot of information with them on how to get back to their life before they got so much trouble, and many of them were able to start visiting with family and friends again and finding more peace in their lives. And so there was a reason that I was supposed to see these crows and the message that they had gifted to me. And again, I feel very, very grateful for the opportunities that I get to see these things, because they aren't just magical, miracle, whatever's that appear to me. The things that I see and what I do always have a meaning and a message with it. And it's always clear to me afterward, even though I kind of question my sanity sometimes. But there always is a reason for everything. There is no such thing as a coincidence. And these things happen for a reason. So I'm asking you today to keep your eyes open for certain things. I find that many people are gifted in many ways, and some maybe more than others, but everyone has something. It's in our cells, in our memory of who we are, and our ancestors and our relatives, that we can see so many things. But we live in a world anymore that is given to us that has so many conveniences and is filled with so much fear that we sometimes don't see the many messages and the wonderful things that are around us. So I'm asking today, like I always do, to open your heart with your light shining with love. I'm going to go have a cup of coffee, and I'm going to take my hat, and I'm going to go down and spread love and light. And maybe I'll even get my rollerblades out and get there that way. Okay, I'll see you next visit. Bye-bye.